Good afternoon, guys, and happy football Sunday to all of your sunshiny faces. Sorry, guys. I was actually having some of my goodness. Honestly, guys, I feel like this is from my allergies. Sometimes it has to do with, like, if I drank something or ate something, like, coats my throat, but I feel like it also has a lot to do with, like, when I have seasonal allergies, and I'm constantly feeling like I have to clear my throat. I was drinking one of those. I completely forgot that I've had these, those Bai drinks, because those are, like, my favorite. I love the pomegranate and the blueberry flavored one, and so I was drinking one of those because, again, I kind of forgot that I had them, and so I haven't been getting any real good deals on them lately, and so that's why I think I forgot that I had a couple. I was like, oh, I should be drinking them, because normally, like, you know, if I got, you know, a couple from the grocery store, like, in the week or whatever, I'd be like, oh yeah, I should drink some of those. And I haven't bought any recently, but I had some still, and so I was like, oh yeah, I should probably drink some of those. And so yeah, that's when I ended up I was drinking that while I was watching the football game, the Sunday night football game, and it is almost 11 o'clock. I'm gonna take a shower and get to bed, guys, but we watched the Bears game outside today on the projector. We ended up getting it all set up, and luckily we went to Target. I was telling you guys yesterday. We went to Target yesterday because we wanted to get, well, my dad wanted to take money out of the bank that they have at Target, or the ATM is through one of the cards, so like he didn't have to pay a fee, and we were going to go there anyway to look for a sound bar that I saw was on sale, and also too, they had the mini port display, like, you know, plug, like, or adapter to the HDMI, so I could plug my Mac in and we could plug it into the projector. Because normally we had been using Matthew's computer, and so he was going to be here today, but I wasn't sure if he was going to bring his computer and if he'd remember the charger. We didn't want to completely be without an option, so I was like, I'll just anticipate on using, you know, my Mac and everything like that. So again, we were planning on doing that. We went to Menards yesterday. They didn't end up, or I'm sorry, to Target yesterday. They didn't end up having the mini, you know, the adapter, and then the ATM was out of service, so we were able to get the sound bar. We got the LG sound bar. I showed you guys that, I think, yesterday. So anyways, did that. Then today we went to Target, and again, because the ATM was out of service at the other Target, we went to this Target, the one that's closer to us today. Ran over there, and when we got there, the ATM, although it didn't say out of service, it said completing your transaction or something like that up on the screen, like when it was, like, you know, still like nobody was there. And so my dad walked up to him, put his card in, and he's like, nothing's coming up, and, like, you know, nothing was working and all this kind of stuff, and he's like, so apparently this one isn't working either. Luckily though, they did end up having the adapter, so we got that. We set everything up outside. Then when we got home, the projector, the curtains, and we took the porch swing down and just put out regular chairs and stuff like that, so everybody could sit out there. I made the chili that I made yesterday. We ended up having that, and everybody said they loved it. Jack didn't end up having any of it. I told you guys he's not a huge chili fan. My dad, who's not a huge chili fan, but he will tolerate it, said it was amazing, like the best chili he'd ever had. And I was like, it was probably the simplest chili recipe that I've ever done. It was I ended up doing 3 cans of chili beans, 3.5 pounds of ground beef, or maybe a little bit more, a little less, somewhere around 3 pounds of ground beef, 3 cans of diced tomatoes, 3 cans of tomato sauce, 3 packages of chili seasoning, and 3 cans of chili beans. I think that was everything I ended up adding. And the recipe called for tomato paste. I didn't end up adding that. And then I think I added 3 onions. That was literally the recipe, right? Well, Aldi actually didn't have tomato paste, so I was like, I'm just gonna go with that. Hopefully it's still okay. And I think the tomato paste is just sort of just thicken it up, but it was already kind of thick anyway, so it wasn't, like, you know, that wasn't that big of a deal. You know, maybe to add a little bit more flavor and stuff like that, but regardless, didn't end up doing that, and it was still totally fine. You know, like the consistency and everything. So it wasn't like super soupy or, like, you know, so thick, you know, too thick or anything like that. So then cut up an extra onion, because my dad likes to add extra onions to his, just like over the top, cheese, sour cream, and then we had saltine crackers, and my mom had like tortilla strips. And so that was like basically dinner. Like I said, my dad said it was the best chili. He went back for seconds again. My mom really liked it too, and Matthew had some. And my mom really wanted to do chili actually this weekend because she got some cornbread mix, so she ended up doing cornbread also as a side. So that was what we ended up doing today, football and chili. And so yeah, then watched the Bears game. Luckily they won, just barely, sort of. I was like, wow, this is gonna be a rough start to the season because it already looked pretty pathetic at the beginning, but they turned it around. It was a good game. And so yeah, I was like, it really stink that we set all this stuff up, you know, watching the game outside, really trying to enjoy ourselves for a not so great game. But again, it kind of turned itself around later on. Then we came inside, you know, kind of cleaned everything up, put all the stuff away, you know, got everything resituated and all that kind of stuff, and then ended up coming back inside and watched the last inning of the Cubs game and got to see a no-hitter, which is the first. I was watching the Cubs during the season, that was the 2016 season when Jake Arrieta had his no-hitter, but I think that was one of the few games that I didn't actually see. I literally almost watched every single game that season. I swear there had to have been something that was going on that day that I ended up missing it and wasn't able to actually see it or something. But literally, I think every, you know, like I'd say probably 85 to 90% of the games that year, the 2016 season, before I even knew that they were going to win the World Series that year, I watched like almost all of the games. They were just super captivating and everything like that. I don't know how I ended up missing that game, so I never actually got to see a no-hitter. And unfortunately, again, I didn't get to see the whole game, but I did get to catch the last inning. And so I saw like the 7th inning, ESPN sent like a notification, and it was like, oh, no-hitter watch. And they'll say that like for different games. Like there's been a couple so far this season. I think the only other team though so far this season that's had a no-hitter was the Sox, so it's kind of cool that both no-hitters came from Chicago teams, even though I'm not a huge Sox fan. But you know, it's just cool that, you know, I don't know that that's ever, if no other team winds up, you know, no pitchers from any other teams wind up having a no-hitter, you know, those will be the only two. You know, that would be a really cool thing. I don't know if that's, you know, something new that's in the history books as well. So again, it was cool to see at least that. And you know, we were finishing cleaning everything up and we're like, let's quick get back inside so we can watch the game. And again, I think we caught maybe the very end of the 8th inning or something like that, and then pretty much the whole 9th inning. So it was, like I said, apparently really good game, no hitter, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So that was also fun. Then we ended up watching the 3 o'clock game, which was the Saints and the Buccaneers, and then ended up watching the Sunday night football game, which was the Rams and the Cowboys. So yeah, honestly, other than again the Bears game, there wasn't really any other teams that I was watching today that were on, like you know, that we had that I was like, oh, I really want that team or whatever. But Carolina, I guess they look pretty good. They just barely lost, and Seattle won. So all of the teams that I like, and I also like the Steelers as well, and they play Monday night, so tomorrow. But I don't know if we'll get, I think we'll get the game. There's 2 games on tomorrow night, so there's like a 6 o'clock game and a 9 o'clock game. So again, I don't know which one we're gonna wind up getting, and or if we get either of them. But it says it's on ESPN, so I'm thinking that we should just be able to watch it. Plus, I believe we also have ESPN Plus, so regardless of what it's on ESPN, we should be able to watch it. Unless it's like blacked out in our area or something. So anyway, so guys, yeah, we had a fun day of football, and you know, finally feeling like fall. It's just weird too, because like normally my fall days goes Friday night is, you know, high school football games and watching Jack, or you know, when my dad was coaching, or you know, when we'd go, Matthew was playing, or when I was in high school, you know, Friday nights. Saturday was normally college football, Sundays NFL, and it was weird. Like I watched, you know, a little bit of college football, I guess, yesterday, and then watched the NFL today. But I was like, I kind of miss like there's no Friday. Like, you know, normally my entire weekends in the fall is nothing but football. It is Friday to Sunday jam-packed all day football, you know, and so that's why it was like really weird. I was like, there was no like, you know, high school football. You know, I mean, Jack had that like practice sort of thing that they were doing, the regulations or whatever still allowing for like somewhat sort of pre-season like practice, but they can only have up to like 20 practices or something like that. The kids, you know, all types of different rules and stuff like that. The kids can, you know, I guess it can be a 7-on-7, but it can't be contact and, you know, all this kind of stuff. So I don't know, they ended up, you know, doing that yesterday. And I guess there was like a couple of parents that like stood around the outside of this, you know, stadium watching and stuff like that. But, you know, nothing special about the games or anything like that. So, yeah, you know, that's just, it kind of stinks that, again, we don't have that one. I'm so used to that being my fall kind of thing. But the weather was nice today. It wasn't too hot. Actually, it was kind of nice too, because even though we had like the curtains closed outside for the football game, you know, in our little cabana outside, which I did take a picture of today, I thought it was going to be like super hot in there just because all the heat was going to be, you know, kept in there. It actually was hotter when we had them open because the sun was like glaring on us. It was actually cooler with the curtains closed today. So that was really nice. We again got to enjoy that. It was nice because we got to enjoy the projector outside, you know, all of the stuff that we ended up, you know, getting and setting up, and it finally is like, wow, this is worth it. Like, that's why we spent all this time doing these projects, just so we can just have a day like today where we're like, hey, let's just chill outside and watch the football games, and we don't have to worry about, like, we did have to worry about a little bit was, it was a little hard to see because we actually haven't tried to. We watched the Black Panther movie maybe a month ago or something like that when we first got those curtains set up outside, but we watched that at night, like at least after dusk, I would say. Like, there's probably almost no sunlight left after that point, and so we had it set up, but this was like right in the middle of the day, so the sun was right on us. Well, we realized this because we have a fiberglass roof, and while it is shaded, it's not completely like blackout, and so there was still like a lot of light that felt like it was coming in. So what my dad actually ended up doing was he had a package of roof tiles that were in the garage and we're gonna redo the roof actually at some point. I don't know that necessarily it's gonna be done this year, hoping that it will be, but my dad wants to redo it and basically put an actual, you know, somewhat of an actual like exterior roof, you know, or not exterior, I guess all roofs are exterior, but like a deck roof, you know, so it doesn't have to be like completely a perfect thing, you know, because it's not like trying to keep the interior of the house dry, but you know, like our neighbors next door have like a more finished roof. Our roof is just basically has fiberglass over the top, and so we want to again get something that is a little bit like, you know, not just fiberglass, because like when we used to have trees, there was several branches that went through the fiberglass, so there's a couple holes in there as well that never ended up getting patched or anything like that, because basically we have to replace most of the fiberglass parts of the roof. Like, you can't just kind of like cut and paste, I guess, or patch it or anything like that, you know, so it's kind of like most of it would have to be, your sections would have to be replaced. And so and it happened in a couple different sections of the roof, so that's why, and so we need to you know, we just want like a more permanent solution. So anyway, so my dad has some of the roof tiles that were left over from when we had the roof redone last summer, and so he just ended up actually throwing the slabs of roof tiles up there, and he threw a blanket up there too in one part where it was kind of, the sun was kind of coming through, it felt like, you know, or it was a little bit brighter, because it was like brighter on one side than the other side, just based on like, you know, where the positioning of the house and relationship of the sun is and all that kind of stuff. So it did end up actually fixing the problem. So my dad actually ended up leaving the roof tiles up there though for right now, so we're hoping they don't blow away or anything like that, but they're pretty heavy. So unless we get some crazy storm, they actually should probably stay there, but they're not secured down to anything or anything like that right now, other than just kind of laying up on top of the roof. So, but again, we're kind of hoping that that will wind up getting done, you know, at some time, but, you know, sometime soon. But everything ended up working out again. We got all of this stuff set up, and, you know, the sound bar worked, and, you know, again, this is probably maybe our third or fourth time setting up the projector, so we kind of have it down to, you know, not a science yet, but it's kind of getting easier now to set up, because first couple times it was like, oh my goodness, we have to do this and that and all this kind of stuff. So probably maybe the 5th time we've done it, I think. So again, we're kind of, you know, getting used to how, you know, everything's kind of working out, and like, okay, we need this, you know, all that kind of stuff. We need extension cords, we need this thing, we need that, you know, whatever, and so we can get everything all set up kind of easily. Anyways though, yeah, so we got, you know, that done in a reasonable amount of time and had it all set up and enjoyed the rest of the day. So again, didn't get any projects, didn't have anything really to share with you guys for today because we just spent the day enjoying and watching football now that it's back on. So anyways guys, I will see you all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give it a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.